My name is Raymond, and these are steps of action potential in ions evolved. The action potential is a fundamental process through which neurons communicate within the nervous system, enabling the transmission of electrical signals along their length. This complex sequence of events involves the orchestrated movement of ions across the neuron's membrane, orchestrated by specialized ion channels. Step 1. Resting potential. The journey of action potential begins with the neuron at rest, maintaining a resting membrane potential. This resting potential typically ranges from -60 to -70 millivolts in neurons. The inside of the neuron is negatively charged relative to the outside, primarily due to the distribution of ions across the cell membrane. Step 2. Depolarization. When a neuron receives a stimulus, such as a neurotransmitter, binding to its receptors, ion channels in the cell membrane open. This allows an influx of sodium ions into this neuron. Sodium ions rush into the neuron due to both electrical gradient and concentration gradient. This influx of positive charge depolarizes the membrane, making the inside less negative. Step 3. Threshold and action potential. If the depolarization reaches a critical threshold level, voltage-gated sodium channels will open more extensively. This triggers a rapid influx of sodium ions, causing a sudden and significant change in the membrane potential, a spike known as action potential. The membrane potential rapidly rises to around plus 40 millivolts, creating a positive electrical charge inside the neuron. Step 4. Repolarization. After reaching its peak, the sodium channel closes and a voltage-gated potassium channel opens. Potassium ions then move out the neuron following their concentration gradient. This efflux of positive potassium ions restores the negative charge inside the neuron, returning the membrane potential towards its resting state. Step 5. Hyperpolarization and refractory period. During the repolarization, potassium channels may briefly overshoot, causing hyperpolarization, where the membrane potential becomes more negative than the resting potential. This hyperpolarization phase is crucial in preventing the neurons from immediately firing another action potential, contributing to the refractory period, then returns to its normal resting phase. Ions evolved. Several key ions play essential roles in the action potential process. Sodium ions are responsible for depolarizing the neuron during the initiation of action potential. Potassium ions are involved in repolarization and hyperpolarization phases, restoring the resting membrane potential. Chloride ions, while less prominent in the action potential generation, chloride ions contribute to the overall electrical environment of the neuron. Calcium ions, although prominently involved in neurotransmitter release rather than the action potential itself, calcium ions influence the sympathetic transmission. In conclusion, the action potential is a dynamic and precisely regulated process that enables neurons to transmit electrical signals. It involves a sequence of steps from resting potential through depolarization, action potential initiation, repolarization, and finally to hyperpolarization and the refractory period. The orchestrated movement of ions, particularly sodium and potassium ions, across the neuron's membrane is crucial for generating and propagating the electrical signal. Understanding these steps and the ions involved provides fundamental knowledge for comprehending how neurons communicate and process information in the nervous system.